Welcome back to Legion 7.2. Today I'm taking a look at the new pet battle dungeon implemented in this patch, and you can access this by going to the pet shop in Dalaran and picking up a quest from there. Afterwards you'll have to make the lengthy trip to Wailing Caverns, but once you're there it all takes part in one place. Now the trick to this dungeon is to beat all of the encounters and get to the end, and then beat the final encounter. And the first time you go through this, you're allowed to heal in between each of the fights, but if you want to do the challenge version at the end, then you have to pick up a pet team that can survive through the whole thing and beat all of the encounters. Now the first three fights here are just against basic white enemies, and there's a combination of beast, aquatic and flying. The technique I use to beat these is to either use an emerald proto-whelp or a dream whelpling. Either of these will do, and these pets can solo the entire team of 3, and they can do this repeatedly so long as you continue to heal them up at the end of each fight. So I just used one of these for most of these fights. I had a backup, which I do use a little bit later on, but if you play it correctly you can just use one, and you pretty much just go into the fight and you heal up, keep healing up, keep doing damage slowly. It's pretty slow going, but it's very, very easy to beat these 3 just with the whelpling. After beating these 3 easy fights, you run to your first sort of mini-boss here, the Son of Scum. For this fight I used some mechanical pets. I used the Iron Starlet, the Menagerie Custodian, and I kept my Emerald Proto-Whelp to clean up the white ones at the end. For the Iron Starlet, I just started with using Wind Up to get a 10% damage buff. After this, I used the Toxic Smoke to take advantage of the 10% damage buff and apply the dot to him a little bit. Basically all I did here was just continue to spam Wind Up. I probably should have used Supercharge, but I think for some reason I just sort of derped and didn't do it. I'm not sure why, but you can see it kind of still works out anyway. So maybe if you get along here you can be a bit less dumb than I am and actually remember to use Supercharge. Either way it's not particularly hard. My Iron Starlet does end up dying just before the end, but my Menagerie Custodian easily comes in and finishes it off. It's not really mandatory that you have a Custodian, I just used a high damage mech pet. This guy sort of has the 2 high damage abilities that you can just fire off to finish off the beast easily enough, but basically any pet could sub in to do this. After the main guy's dead, as before, just bring in the whelpling to clean up the 2 remaining ones. Next part of the dungeon has 3 more fights, and this time it's 2 white mobs and 1 green beast. So to beat these snakes, I just use the Lil Bling. You can get them from the Blingtron quest if you haven't got them already. I used 2 of them for this, I just rotated them for the 3 fights. 2 seemed to be about the right number. Doing it with 1 might be pushing it a little bit, and 3 is, while safe, it's probably overkill, so if you have 2 of these it's perfect for it. All I had to do in the first fight here is open up with the coin toss, and the snake just burrows, which gives me a chance to put up my extra plating to reduce damage taken. After he does that, I just use coin toss again, because it's a pretty high damaging move. Immediately after that you just go into inflation and start making him take increased damage. And as you continue to spam this, the falling coins and the damage over time just wrecks the snake and chips him down very quickly. This is the same technique you pretty much use for all three of these snakes. Just get a little bling in, rotate them if their health gets too low, and then afterwards you just use the whelpling again to clean up. I'm still using my original emerald whelpling at this point, but again, dream whelpling works fine. You can take more than one if you need to, just have a backup. But it's paramount that you make sure your whelpling doesn't die, because he's pretty much key to getting through all of this. At the end of the 3 snakes fights, we have the boss snake, Hiss, and I sort of changed up my tactic a little bit for this guy. I used a wild jade hatchling for call lightning. You can use pretty much any pet that has call lightning, and I used a clockwork gnome. For the jade hatchling, I just threw up cyclone, because it is a pretty good ability. It's not really very necessary, but it was good to just throw it out there. And then I just got the call lightning up, so the mechanical abilities do more damage, and you get the extra triggers. After that, I just swapped in for the clockwork gnome. And you just want to build turrets as much as possible. They'll deal extra damage because of the weather, and every turret hit will also cause extra lightning damage because of the storm as well. Combination of these kills the beast very quickly, since they're more susceptible to mech damage, and the lightning storm which is amplifying that even further. By this point I'd switched over to my dream whelpling for the cleanup. I sort of messed up the previous fight a little bit and let my proto-whelp just go a little bit too low on HP, so I wasn't feeling super confident about that. But it pretty much fills the same role, so it was okay. Following this, you have to defeat 2 growing ectoplasms, and these are magic type enemies. Despite this, I found the best option for beating these was either a Zandalari ankle render or a Zandalari knee biter. However, you have to make sure that your pet has 276 speed or above, or well, not just 276, but above 276, just to guarantee that you get the first move against these ectoplasms, as they have 276 speed. If you can't get the first move, it kind of complicates the tactic a little bit. So if you've got an extra speed breeds, it's worth just pulling him out and leveling him up just for the purposes of doing this. All you need to do is apply Black Claw and then use Hunting Party, and the damage pretty much just shreds these guys. And your Zandalari will probably pretty much die at the end of this, so it's good to have 2 of them here. In fact, my overall tactic uses 3 of them, 1 for each of these ectoplasms and then 1 for the final boss. So yeah, it's good if you come in with 3 of these. Any combination of knee biters or ankle renders will do. After this, you just get your whelpling again in for the cleanup, carry on as usual, and once you beat these twice, you move on to the final stage of the dungeon and the last boss. Now, I tried a few different techniques on this guy involving the use of Pandaren Water Spirit. However, I found the best technique simply just involved using another Zandalari and just go with the standards, Black Claw, Hunting Party, and then spam your filler ability. If you can kill this guy fast, it's good because he deals constant party damage, and the combination of these abilities on the Zandalari do just tear him to shreds really quickly. After that, it's a simple matter of using your whelpling once again for the cleanup.